This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Some things are just better together, like party playlists and Friday nights, campfires and ghost stories, peanut butter and chocolate. And Reese's Cups are the perfect combination of creamy peanut butter and delicious milk chocolate. So, when you want something sweet, you can't do better than Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Buy Reese's today wherever candy is sold.
In sports, the scoreboard doesn't tell the full story, but Netflix does. Stories about dads who happen to be world-class quarterbacks and a battle for the heart, soul, and direction of the multi-billion-dollar business of F1. Whether you're a diehard fan or you're brand new, Netflix has the stories for every type of fan. You can watch these incredible sports stories like Quarterback, F1 Drive to Survive, Untold, and many more now on Netflix.
Apple Card is the credit card created by Apple. You earn 3% daily cash back up front when you use it to buy a new iPhone 15, AirPods, or any products at Apple. And you can automatically grow your daily cash at 4.15% annual percentage yield when you open a high-yield savings account. Apply for Apple Card in the Wallet app on iPhone. Apple Card subject to credit approval. Savings is available to Apple Card owners subject to eligibility. Savings accounts by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Terms apply.
The following is a snippet of an exclusive members-only podcast episode for our Patreon, Chronicles Tifosi. Become a member at patreon.com/Serie A Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
And there's a lot to say about Inter. We've spoken about the fact that they've conceded a lot of goals. We've spoken about the fact that away from home, they're just not the team that you expect them to be. They're just not strong. And they've obviously lost a lot of their direct games against top opposition, right? So do Inter need to improve? Yes. But I also want to talk about the fact that I feel sorry for them because the absences, I know everyone has absences. Really, everyone does. So I'm not making excuses. But I thought what was interesting was that there was an article talking about the reasons that are, or the things that are going wrong at Inter, obviously naming the fact that they've had to sell off some good talents. They haven't necessarily been replaced as well. Is Dumfries as good as Achraf Hakimi? So on and so forth. Is Di Marco as good as Perisic? And then Di Marco scored a brace. But is he as good as Perisic? No, not yet, certainly. And nor are they in any way similar. But one of the things that was very interesting is they talked about whether or not the formation change. Meanwhile, over at Juventus, I thought it was hilarious because Cassano described them as being so utterly disgusting. And I really thought that, okay, so obviously it was a 1-0 victory from a deflected strike against Verona, who are at the very bottom and I think have gone 8 games without managing a win. The poor side is really in dire straits at the moment and they felt hard done by. I thought it was interesting because reading Gazzetta, they kept referring to them as the Verona B because it wasn't even Verona's first choice players because there were so many absences. So it was a lot of the subs playing, and yet Juventus was struggling. And Cassano said, the disgust continues. Juventus disgusting, winning in Verona without taking a shot on target, an obscene disgrace, and their coach is happy. Here's the thing. Karsdorp may not be a very good player. And I understand if you don't like him as a player and you ask him to find another club. Absolutely. I totally get that. You may not think he's of your level. Yep. To call him unprofessional, I was a little bit stuck by that because it was only 3 weeks ago that basically Karsdorp was rushed back when he was trying to recover from surgery, right? And he was rushed back and asked to play in the loss to Napoli. And he said at the time, Mourinho said that he wasn't my first choice because obviously he just underwent a meniscus surgery a month ago. So that's 2 months ago. And he had, swelling and it was in a lot of pain. But because Nikola Zalewski wasn't deemed available at the time, Karsdorp, who was no in condition to play, came on. And he said, to give you an idea of the effort he showed tonight, during halftime, he couldn't sit. Otherwise, his knee would have locked due to swelling. He stood for 10 minutes. He was in no condition to play for 90 minutes tonight. And yet he did so. There are players who refuse to play with any form of injury. But to brave that, to come back from surgery and say, okay, I'll be in, and then to be deemed unprofessional a month later is really pretty harsh, right? But obviously they love to point out, the Lazio Ultras wanted to point out the hypocrisy in football in awarding a country like Qatar the World Cup by making a ridiculous banner that said, Khalid Salman, we stand with you. This is the man who talked about homosexuality and it being damage to the brain. So make of that what you will. I mean, the actual fans of Lazio, who are not the Ultras, just regular fans, had wrote saying they were so tired of seeing their club being mentioned in the most horrific ways. And I have to agree with them. Become a member at patreon.com/Serie A Chronicles for regular bonus episodes and content.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
When I was diagnosed with cancer, it felt like my whole world came tumbling down.
Patient Advocate Foundation is here for you, providing free one-on-one practical support to patients with a cancer diagnosis. Call us at 800-532-5274. Patient Advocate Foundation can assist in navigating disability benefits and health insurance options. PAF also helps in accessing vital services, medications, and financial resources for both medical and household expenses. Visit patientadvocate.org or call 800-532-5274.